All right. Hello, Capricorn. I'm actually a little bit early today. Such a great morning and really nice shift energetically from yesterday, or actually on Friday. I had a bunch of crazy things that I had to deal with. So today, just everything seems to be going smoothly. And I have a really great series of messages that came through for you, almost too much to fit on my table. So that tells me we're going to have a power-packed session today. First of all, I'd like to say welcome. I see a lot of folks already here. Apollo, I like to bring out at the beginning because, first of all, he's a nice soothing energy. People wonder why I do that. It helps ground me. And for those of you that have cats and dogs, once I do this, then he's chilled out. He's like, oh yeah, you're doing that work. And so I kind of bring him up here just for a second to let him be a part of it. Otherwise, he would want to bother me the whole time. So this is actually a chance to let him be a part of it. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. If you're brand new, we're going to be looking at the sign of Capricorn today. I always read a month ahead, so this is designed for April, but the channeled messages, which I'll be getting to in just a moment, actually are relevant for the here and the now, and that's part of the reason that we show up early. So it's really like a 6-week forecast starting on the day that you read it, and then you'll start to see things resonate over that period of time. I like to separate this into a few distinct parts. I begin with the psychic messages, just me talking to my guides. And then after that, I go a little bit deeper and take a look at the Celtic Cross. For me, the Celtic Cross is not something that I like to just focus on love. Instead, I allow it to take more of a soul path where whatever needs to come through will come through. And so sometimes it's career, sometimes it's love, sometimes it's health. But to ensure that we get to all of those different things, I then expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny after that. Then I always do a quick review because I know sometimes people get the notifications late. So if you, the midpoint is like a quick encapsulation of what we covered, and then we go into deeper level soul issues. So as I look at all of the channeled messages and the cards, oftentimes there's one or two things that could either help or hinder you, a blessing or a block. And I go a little bit deeper into that in the soul path. And then we'll do a meditation to really bring everything together. And I've been doing something new this month, which I think people like, and that's an extra card at the end, which is sort of like an almost personal reading, where you can think of something and I'll pull a card and I'll give you some information on it. It's not a yes, no, I'll give you context to what you're thinking about. So it's a reason to stick around until the end if you'd like. So let's get into everything. Just a couple of notes. First and foremost, some of you this might be your first time. If you enjoy what you see today, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you can, because that way, hopefully in the future, when I do other readings, you'll be informed about it. And if you really want to get an email, you can click on that notification icon as well. The other thing is, if you want to show some support today, the way that you can do it, there's a couple of ways depending on if you're watching it live or on replay. While you're watching in real time, you can use this little button here, the $, and send a sticker, send some gratitude. I don't answer questions because there's so much to cover. The readings are already long enough, but that's a way to just say thank you, and it helps me continue to supply everything that you see here. And then on replay, there's a little heart next to all the sort of thumb up, thumb down, share, etc. So you can click the applaud button and give back using that. There's also some stuff on my website. I pinned the link because if you need to figure out how to follow me on social media or whatever, you can go there. Just a quick note, because there's been some crazy stuff, I think, across social media, Facebook, Instagram, etc. My username is my name, nothing before, nothing after. And I'll talk about this later, and I'll go into how you can follow me. But it's just Nicholas Ashbaugh, like it is on YouTube. And I'm verified on YouTube and also on Facebook. It'll take some time on the other places to get verified. But I will never send a request to you via direct message. I will never send a friend ad, and I'll never ask you for anything. So if anybody is doing that, it's an imposter. And I think that this is something kind of running around on social media. So I'm going to start to say it in my videos so you'll know that it's not me, okay? The only way to connect with me is in these live sessions or through my website, which I've pinned there, okay? And if you ever wonder, is it me, go to my website, look at the social media icons, click to the link, and if the names don't match, that's a clear sign. All right, enough of that. Let's get started. First, before I do that, thanks again to Maria and Dakota for helping out as well. You guys are always amazing at helping with the room. Those are my moderators, by the way. All right, let's go into the channeled messages for Capricorn for April. I always like to start with nature And a lot of times this comes to me while I'm walking the dog, brushing my teeth, or whatever. All of a sudden I'll get an image in my head, or my guides whisper what the totem will be for today. Your sign today was a sea turtle, and it's really cute. I don't know if I've done the turtle before, but definitely not the aquatic one. And I was looking at it and I just thought, these are really beautiful animals, right? Just really beautiful, graceful. Yeah, I liked it. I was like, yeah, very friendly looking too. So anyway, sea turtle today. We're going to talk a little bit about how this is going to relate to you. There's so many things actually that came through with this animal. So spirit totem, sea turtle. And the big thing that I saw here was that it's time to take the plunge and dive into a new project or endeavor. As I was doing some research this morning after I got the message that I needed to talk about this animal, the one thing that stuck out was how good they are at diving. That was the swimming speed. They swim faster than they would walk if they had to go on land, but they're not the fastest swimmers, but they are very good divers. And I thought, all right, so if that's the thing they're best at, let's look at parts in your life where you can kind of dive into something. So when we pull the Celtic Cross in a few minutes, I'll see where there might be opportunities for you to flex your muscles a little bit, to try something new, and to explore. The other thing that came through here was we'll be talking about metabolism in a second. I was fascinated by the piece of information that their heart doesn't have to beat that often. It can be every few minutes, and they have very slow metabolism. They're cold-blooded. They do some regulation using their fins and everything. But this ability to sort of pace themselves and not even like they can hold their breath for, I think it was something like 4 to 7 hours, because they're, I guess they're an amphibian or whatever, but they still need to come up for air every now and then. But there was this pacing message that was coming on. So with that, I would say pace yourself. You may alternate between productive periods and plateaus. Back when I used to work in a regular kind of like technical company, at one point there was this thing called sprints, right? Where there would be certain periods of time where you work really, really fast, and then different teams would kind of go on and off sprints. So in real life, it's nice because I used to, run track and field back in high school. So the metaphor of certain periods where you have to put a lot of energy in, but then you have to rest, I think is key. And then I like the idea of a relay race where you don't have to do it all. There can be different people that are kind of taking turns. That way you don't burn out. But the plateaus were something that I saw when I was meditating. So I think you might go up a little bit and then plateau, maybe go down a little bit, plateau, but it's nothing crazy. So I think regulation, like regulating your energy and deciding where, when, and how much to sprint is going to be really important. The next thing that I saw here was this kind of planning energy. So yes, the turtle can hold its breath for like 4 to 7 hours, but it's going to have to figure out how and when to do that. So I would say for you, planning and allocating your resources and realizing that you can take a little and make it go a long way. It's very Six of Pentacles, an energy that I've been feeling for the past couple of signs. Six of Pentacles, you're holding the scale, you're making choices, you're not going to do everything. You got everything you need, maybe not everything you want, but you can make it work. So balance, basically, but a nice, easy balance, not the Two of Pentacles, like, how am I going to do this? I feel like it'll be okay for you. Now let's talk about the metabolism. So yes, it's good for the turtle because they can stay underwater for a long amount of time. They don't have gills, they still breathe. So they've just slowed their bodies down so they don't have to breathe as much. Humans, slow metabolism isn't the best thing. You're not going to be able to eat as many calories. You're not going to be as energetic. And I feel like for some of you, this is a quarantine thing, right? Post-quarantine, quarantine, we're still in various phases of that, depending on the variants and all of that. But what we have to do is take care of our body and make sure that we're still getting enough exercise to keep everything going. So work with your doctor, obviously, anytime you're going to change up your health situation, and figure out if there's a way to boost metabolism and maybe increase activity. When I was thinking about our totem today, I was thinking, of course, swimming is a really great way to exercise. And almost anybody, whether you are young or old, have an injury or in perfect health, it's a very low impact way of exercising. Also, walking is great, and stretching. I was thinking of very gentle ways to start to move and ease yourself back into it. I don't think that, we all need to just go and grab weights or go on the bike for an hour and a half or whatever. Be smart about it. Talk to your doctor and ease into it, because the metabolism will take a while to start to boost. And I think that's something that you want to look at. Okay. The other thing is I was thinking of the shell on the turtle, and I was surprised to read that they have they have nerve endings in it, so they can actually feel what's going on. But I also just was thinking symbolically of what turtles represent. In some religions, it's the world, and basically the turtle is holding the world on its back, very much like Atlas is holding things up, or not 10 of swords, but 10 of wands. And with the 10 of wands, the person's usually bent over and the posture isn't ideal. So I'd like you to think of looking at overall posture. Are you sitting up straight? Do you have enough support on your chair? Have you replaced your mattress or your pillows recently in the bed? All of those things are important. And for those of you that are working from home, maybe permanently because you like it, or your company's changed the way that that's being done, see if you can get an ergonomic assessment. A lot of companies will do that, or it might be something that you can just invest in for preventative medicine. Maybe your insurance company covers it, because it's super important to make sure that, like when you're typing, that you're not kind of up like this. You need to have the right sort of distance from the desk for the keyboard. Usually it's recessed. Maybe you're going to do a standing desk, whatever. Talk to your doctor, get an ergonomic assessment. If this is going to be a full-time thing, it might not be the best place to do it, like at the dining room table with your, with your kitchen, all the stuff around that. You might have to actually get a setup for your house and make it work. Okay. The other thing that was interesting here was the sea turtles have adapted a lot. They're not like regular turtles. I guess they can actually retract their heads into their bodies like a regular turtle can. So one thing also, pay attention to the neck, because you could have neck strain there. But the other thing is the turtle can't hide. It can't go into its shell. So this is a month where you're starting to come out of your shell, out of the hermit shell a little bit, and also finding a way to, I just looked at someone's comment saying, I'm becoming turtle shaped in quarantine. That's funny. Anyway, but it's basically about stepping out into the spotlight and really being seen. So this is your chance to basically start to feel more comfortable in your skin and do something that you want to do. Maybe you've gotten the inspiration during this period that I don't want to do that anymore. I feel like doing this, and I have permission to do it because either I'm working from home, or that job stopped, or I feel like now I really know I want to go back to school, or I want to try something different. Try it out. This is the time to experiment. We don't have that many opportunities in life to kind of reset everything. And I feel like 2020 was a big opportunity to let go. And we still have an opportunity here in 2021. Things are still kind of reassembling. So if there's ever been a time for you to go out on a limb and try something unusual, it is now. And because there was so much about this animal, I can't really put it all into today's reading. But one of the things that I saw was it adapted, highly adapted from land. So what I can see here is that you can adapt to any situation. It just may mean a trade-off, like we were talking about certain traits that land turtles and sea turtles have or don't have. As you start to move into something else, it means giving up something that you used to do. Like for me, it meant giving up titles and, I didn't have insurance and I had to get my own and all this other stuff. You basically have to become self-reliant, which is something we've been talking about this month, but it can be fun. So look at the trade-offs, look at the opportunities involved with moving around a little bit. And I think that's key. There's a sort of psychic energy with the sea turtles. They have this homing ability that they can read the magnetic waves of the earth, much like birds can. But when I was thinking of, okay, the homing, and then also the fact that they are like the symbolic of the planet, and then also they kind of have that protective shell, even if we kind of combine the land and sea, it's sort of like you have everything you need, like the Fool. So for some of you, this could be a chance for you to either be getting a new home, or maybe trying to feel at home in a situation, or if we take the sort of Fool or vagabond energy that I was talking about, maybe it's deciding to take a risk, to kind of put yourself out there. And you have to kind of it's your neck on the line, because literally that head can't go back in. So one of the best things that you can really do if you believe in something is to put your name on it, and to stand behind it. That was something I decided when I was thinking of like business names. I thought it's just my name. I'm doing this. So think about it. When you endorse something, you really are standing behind it. So if there's something you want to do, like, own it. And if there's something that you want to share with someone, anytime there's an announcement, a coming out, or a declaration, part of it should be a sense of excitement. Say, I really love you, I really care about you, and I can't wait to talk about this. And then when you share it with that enthusiasm, really cool things can happen. Kind of piggybacking off of what I was thinking about with the 10 of Wands, with the idea of like Atlas, or the turtle being the world. It was just a lot of pressure that I was kind of tuning into when I thought of those images. So I would say, don't take on more than you need. Don't get into a sort of stress or burnout situation, because I think some of this could just be even like this feeling like I have to do it. I'm the only one that can do it right. So remember that you can always delegate. You can always ask for assistance, and it's not always wise to take on all of that energy. The cool thing, though, with this, if we go back into the 10 of Wands, is it feels like you're on the precipice of some sort of big shift in your life. This is kind of like wrapping everything up and deciding what's next. All right, moving off of the spirit totem today, which gave us wonderful messages, onto some dream messages that I received. This was really funny. Okay, well, we're going to start with the beginning portion. It's really important to understand that your most powerful thing that you could do is to inspire someone rather than to tell them what to do. So what my guides were conveying was this idea of inspire and empower, but don't dictate. If you can go in and spark inspiration in others, then that's going to be much stronger than forcing your hand. It reminds me of that wonderful science fiction movie, Inception, where instead of trying to, it was a tricky sort of thing there, but they planted an idea in someone's mind and had them own it. And that was stronger than them trying to take something away from them or whatever. But an elevated version of this is, if you want to affect change, it's good to allow others to adapt or claim that. So that's a very powerful way. Get people on board, right? And if you can start doing that one person at a time, then you can get a group together and things will start to shift. In fact, it's kind of me jumping ahead here, but let me see where it was. I'll find it in a second. It's part of these cards here. But the next thing was, this was kind of funny. My guide said, we were all born from passion. Like literally that moment in time of creation was something where passion was a part of it. And we need a little passion in our lives to keep vitality and motivation alive. Vitality, that feeling like I want to get up and do something. My life matters. I can't wait to do something in my life. And motivation also kind of like, I want to make this happen. I feel excited about it. Find your passion. It doesn't have to be your job. It's more powerful sometimes when it is, but you certainly can have a passion outside of work. What I'm doing here and now was a passion that I had when I had a job. This was a passion, my book was a passion, and I just made them happen. So I started, it took longer for some of these things because I was balancing a practical job and then the passion. So the passion could be a foray or a move into something new. It could also just be something you love. Painting, knitting, even if you are writing, maybe it's just for you, whatever. Find something that you love, fixing up a car, who cares? Just something that really brings you this sense of excitement and something to look forward to, that light at the end of the tunnel. We all need it. And if we don't have something in the heart space or in the second chakra that's making us feel creative, excited and passionate, then something's missing. So find the spark is what I would say if I was trying to summarize it a little bit more succinctly. And let's see, that's most of what I was getting for the inspiration thing. The next thing would be for any interactions. And I think for many of you, this could either be if you're going to interview with someone, or it could be a date. It felt like there was an evaluation or this sort of feeling out energy of, both sides. How did they feel about the other side? So in the dream, there wasn't, the other party was much more dressed up than I was. So I would say err on the side of overdressing for a key meeting or date. Not only will you make a splash, but you're going to feel stronger and you won't be constantly self-conscious. Obviously, you don't want to go to a ridiculous extreme. I would just say dress a little sharper than you think you need to. Just a half step higher. Maybe instead of sneakers, you have dress shoes on, and instead of something like this, you might put a button-up shirt or something. You don't have to go crazy, but just kind of look more professional for that initial meeting, and it's going to help. Something that feels appropriate for the audience, basically. And The other thing was, this was exactly the words that they were telling me. They said, use inclusive language in communication. Being aware of others, I think, is key. So I felt like there was resistance, especially for some of you. This could be even you trying to educate like a parent on it. So, we're in a time now where preferred pronouns are something that we talk about. So if, you have an older relative or maybe someone at work that's not respecting your chosen pronoun or your chosen name, something like that could be coming into play. It could also be something where the language that they used was insensitive to the audience because it was inappropriate, because they weren't taking into account feelings of, how someone may have interpreted that. So if that's you, I definitely think you have to have a heart-to-heart with someone and try to, in the dream I saw, you can use another example, maybe gender or something like that, to help people see it, because they don't always get it. Sometimes when it's hard. I think this is just something that you have to have conversations with people about to help educate them. So if you're in the position to speak, read the room, make sure that you understand who you're talking to and what they might be sensitive to. If you've been made, if you feel uncomfortable by someone else's speaking or words or communication, then I would say have a heart-to-heart and show them compassion. I think the important thing is education without judgment, and it's going to be a lot stronger than coming across too sharp. And there you go. Inclusive language, that's exactly the word, so I'm just reporting it from my guides. The next thing that I saw was a power struggle. And to me, this feels very corporate, but it could even be kind of like political, and that could then kind of be even something that you could see in a family. So I saw politics playing a role, and somebody that was trying to basically, you give them an inch, they take a yard, or a mile, or whatever you want to say with this. So somewhere, somehow, that person needs to be told no. And so what I saw is that support is going to be necessary. This is the card that I was looking for. Rally support and stand your ground. And you can use some of what we talked about here, where you inspire and empower other people to see what's wrong or what needs to be fixed. And together you can put a stop to it. But it feels like there's one person that's trying to push the boundaries and they want more control. And it doesn't feel like they want it for the right reason. So if there's someone in your life that is trying to test you, say no and get others to support you and be consistent with that. The sooner they're told no, the less it's going to get kind of crazy. The longer they go, the more messy that will get. The next thing here was a reminder that in your life, whether you're learning something new, working on yourself, speeding up your metabolism, whatever it is, change happens one day at a time, one step at a time. Keep pushing and keep being passionate about something. So this might be related to this sort of passion project that we were talking about, right? And before I woke up, the last thing that I saw, which was really, really interested in, was I was shown a card by my guides, and they were kind of just telling me some things about it. So I saw the Three of Cups, and the Three of Cups, we're going to have to look at the cards here in a moment to see how it might play out when I look at love and relationships. But it can actually be very good. It can mean a celebration. It can be new love in your life. Usually it's very casual, and you're trying to figure out, kind of like that dating card or that meeting card, how the two of you vibe. It can also mean new connections coming through, like word of mouth. Really strong and powerful for those of you that are looking for a job. Three of Cups would be a friend tells a friend who might tell you, like, it's a game of telephone, but it can be very powerful in helping you get something. So good word of mouth. It could also be very good for businesses where people are telling others about what you're doing or whatever. So reputation is key. New connections are key. And then adjustments in new relationships, or in existing relationships. So, the Three of Cups can even be a baby coming into the picture. It's a third party, right? So for a sibling, it could be like a younger child coming in. For a family, it's like it used to be the two of you, now it's three. And then for existing relationships, it can be a kind of reevaluation. Where did the spark go? Do we still want to be together? Are you the one for me? It's sort of the questions that can pop up at any point in a relationship. So we'll dig into that. That might be something I have to take up in the soul path if it doesn't come up in the cards. But let's take a look and see what's happening. So at this point, I'm going to stack up all of these index cards. If you missed anything or want to see it a little closer, first of all, you should follow me on Instagram. I always post the cards on Instagram and on Facebook and on the community tab here on YouTube. So follow me on one or all three. It would be a good way to see it. But also at the midpoint, I will hold all the cards up to the camera and quickly go through them. So I do a mini review in the middle. And I also will timestamp everything, but it takes me a while. Sometimes people expect the title and all the summary and the codes to go. It takes me about 4 or 5 hours, or sometimes I have to have lunch and I come back. So by the end of today, definitely by tomorrow, all of that stuff will be timestamped too, so you can see it in the comments section, not the comments, but the description below. All right, I'm going to be quiet at this point and shuffle all the cards. Again, you can use this for sun, rising, and for moon. You also probably figured out by now that I'm a channeler, a medium, so you might just get information even if you're not in Capricorn. So welcome and stick around and see how it resonates for you. Okay. Such a great card. We got the crocus here. I'll talk about it in a second, but I wanted to say happy spring or happy fall, depending on which side of the equator you're on. We just got through that milestone, so crocus is reminding us of that. All right, let's take a look at all of the cards and messages. We're going to start with the cheerful crocus here that came up. This is the catalyst, and if you're new, the catalyst is a way to kind of stay in the highest energy of the month, how to get out of your way, your own way, and really how to be successful. So it says it is spring again. The earth is like a child that knows poems by heart. Cheerfulness, and yeah, I love crocus. This is one of the, usually we're a little late for this, but this is usually something that you would see popping through the snow or the frosty ground. It's always a sign of perseverance and the ability for hope to kind of come through. I did, this came through actually in a, as a spirit totem once, so I know a little bit more about it, but I know that there's a certain type of crocus that's used for spices, right? So that's also cool too. And I forget what it wasn't turmeric, it was something else, but it's used for a certain type of spice. So crocuses are amazing little flowers. And I like this sort of cheery attitude here. So if you can take that sort of positive outlook on things and expect the best, I try to wake up and think in the morning, even like before this reading, I'm like, I just feel like it's going to be a great reading. So I try to pull in the positivity and the vibes. I do the same thing as I approach the day. Today will be better than the last, especially last week when there was some crazy stuff going on social media or whatever. I thought, all right, this was interesting. Tomorrow's a new day. I have to reset. So click the reset button, stay optimistic, stay hopeful. And this is showing new growth and new things coming. Saffron, thank you. So yes, you can take these little, it's the little kind of these things. I don't know what they're called, but not the stamen. I'm not sure what it is, but basically you take those little things and you grind them up, and yeah, you make saffron. So I think you can get that in tea, and you can also use that for cooking. So very cool. Anyway, crocus, amazing flower, but the message today was really the positive outlook, right? Let's go to your center card here. We have the 8 of Cups, and the 8 of Cups reversed is about making and breaking cycles. Sometimes it's also about letting go of. It's so interesting. Sometimes we can fixate on someone or something, like I have to have this. And then after a while of not having it, you think, well, I thought I needed to have it, but maybe it's not the end all and be all. So some of you may come to a realization that there is a better way or a better path. Some of you may feel like, no, I want to go back, and I'm going to really make it happen this time. So I always see 8 of Cups as a potential second chance. So if there's something that you haven't done, either make peace with that or do it so that you can start to sleep well at night, so you can start to feel like I've given it my all, right? The other piece with this one is sometimes you just have to take a break. So this can be the card of sabbaticals. So if you have a job and you want to kind of do some soul searching, and there's an ability for you to take time off and maybe come back or maybe not. This could be that. It could also be a point in a relationship where you feel like we need a break. But it's an open door. With the card in reverse, it's telling me that this won't stay open forever. It's probably something where you might get a month or two to make your decision. But if you need that open door, it feels like you have it for a little bit here, okay? And I really love the 8 of Cups. There's also this feeling of getting back to nature and finding yourself, right? So I was talking about the sea turtle having that homing energy, the ability to find its way. So this is finding your way back to your heart, to your passion, to your home, to yourself. Could be a trip home, could be an old love coming into your life. Now, these two cards together, I'll just pull them up right, even though this was reversed, are very interesting. This can usually show like a breakup or disappointment, a separation. This tells me that there wasn't like it doesn't feel finalized. So maybe you quit a job, or you broke up with someone, or you stopped something in your life, but you didn't commit to that decision. So this is about either working on this month, doing a little bit of meditation on how to release it, or going back and getting the sort of closure that's necessary. If someone was taken too quickly from your life, and this happened with COVID for a lot of us, this can be the sadness and the feeling like I want that person back. I want that feeling back. So closure, and however you need to get the closure, that's the message of the two of these married together. Healing will happen though, because the center card is showing that this is just the feeling of sadness, disappointment, or anger, which is tempering this need to kind of get the closure, go back a little bit, revisit it, and figure out, why am I still triggered by this, okay? So work on closure and commitment to a new path, I would say. Something new, something better. The 9 of Cups is generally a good card, and she's reversed, but let's talk about it in the positive aspect first. 9 of Cups at its best is about finding the positive, about the silver lining. It can also be a very, very accentuated high. Now, when the card is reversed, there's this tendency to zigzag. It can be a feeling that, oh gosh, it was so good yesterday, now this day is crazy, and then the next day, it's sort of like, the opposite extremes. So sometimes even bipolar disorder can come through with this. We all have moments in our life where it just feels like there's an earthquake and everything is happening too fast. Slow down. That's the one thing I will say. The turtle is reminding you occasionally to slow down. So if you're feeling that, just take a deep breath. Like we see this little, I think there's wizards and witches in this deck here. So as we're looking at this person do, she's just taking a deep breath and getting back to center. She's grounded literally on the beach, and she's ignoring all of the sort of chatter around her as this cat's playing with the cancer here, with the I actually called it the cancer, with the crab here. And so ignore all of that kind of nonsense in your life and just get back to yourself, okay? And I think that's the key thing. Take a deep breath. Don't get overly excited, and try not to go to extremes. Moderation, grounding is key. And there could be someone in your life, it could be a cancer because we have the crab here, that's pulling at you energetically, needing a lot. And what you have to do is figure out how and when to sort of give a little bit more. But it's okay for you to take care of you right now. And with the Three of Swords and the Nine of Cups, it feels like your emotions are a little bit more accentuated, a little bit more sensitive than usual. So yeah, you take care of you, okay? I think that's the most important thing. All right, so next thing that we have here is the Four of Cups, which is a hidden blessing. And notice here how this person's so focused on what's in front of them. They don't even see that someone's here that wants to lend a hand, or that there might be something that the universe is trying to give you, right? So I would say for you, take a look at all that's in your life that you could be grateful for. Take a look at even the stuff that you didn't like and how it gave you sort of perspective on what's available or what's possible. There's always a different way to look at it. And sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side. The other person may be going through things that you had no idea that they're going through. So this is about reevaluating the existing blessings, grounding yourself, just like we saw with the Nine of Cups, and looking around, because there could be a helping hand, like an Ace of Cups card or Ace of Pentacles. An ace is coming in saying, hey, how about this? And why aren't you looking over here or looking at that? So there's a missed opportunity, or there is perspective that needs to be reset. And I think that's the main message that comes through with that, okay? Then the great thing that I see here on the crowning is it's an ace. We've got the Ace of Pentacles. So I was talking about a potential ace. This is one of them. With the Ace of Pentacles, this can be a new idea, a new job, a new opportunity. This could be you deciding to go after something or invest in something. I love the Ace of Pentacles. It can be new love. It's not just Ace of Cups. Ace of Pentacles is a little deeper. It's like a commitment saying, would you like, it's a marriage proposal. Would you like to get married? It could be an offer for a job. Would you like to sign this contract and work for us? It's good. There's a feeling from this person that I'm invested in you. I care about you. I want this. It's in some levels a little stronger than the Ace of Cups, which can just be emotional. This goes a little deeper. This is kind of like heart and soul and the brain too. It's all of it. So if you found love that has Ace of Pentacles, you're in a really good place. That's something that can last, right? Do you value yourself? I hope you do, because that value then is reciprocated with others in your life. So invest in yourself, invest in things that you like, say yes to things that make sense, and then say thank you if somebody wants to give you something. Thank you. And yes, if it's something that you want to receive, be open to receiving. The card is upright. There's nothing negative as a part of that. So the only thing that I would say, this is where you could possibly get in your way. The Four of Cups could be that you overlook something. I did this recently. I missed an email and I was like, oh, that there was a missed opportunity. We all have something like that happen, and the window closed. But I thought to myself, well, you opened it once, you can open it again. And that's the difference between the Four of Cups and and the Ace of Pentacles. It's like, well, let's just create another portal. That one's closed. Let's do another one. You did it before, you can do it again. So don't kind of get into Three of Swords energy, which is I messed up. We all mess up all the time. It's really about what you do about the mistake. Then it can actually become a growth opportunity. Like, oh yeah, I learned from that. Now I don't do that because I made that quote unquote mistake. You basically called in a lesson. Now there's new things that are knocking at the door saying, hey, something bigger, something brighter. That's what you can use in manifestation. You could just say, all right, help me find something even better than that or something better. We have Temperance reverse, which for some of you is this feeling of, first of all, this is Trikonasa, like pre-pose. So for some of you, there's this feeling like I've lost my grounding. That's why the card was reversed. For some of you, as we see, she's got one eye open. It's sort of hard to wait for something. You kind of know, yes, I'm okay, but not really. I want this to happen now. So work a little bit on your patience and understand that there are cosmic timings at play. So sometimes, especially if you're calling in a partner or an opportunity, you really want the partnership to be ready. And if it's an opportunity, you want to have all of the things sort of lined up. If you rush it, then it might be you're in over your head, or they're not ready for you, or something weird is happening. So let go a little bit and trust that things are going to be okay. Sorry, my neighbor's dog is playing upstairs. So you might hear some noise. So those are the important things there, is just to really sort of be patient with yourself, be patient with others. You can always shift your attention. So with the Ace of Pentacles, this could be a decision. All right, that seems to be on pause a little bit. So let's reorganize and put the energy here. And I'm sure you've all experienced this. As soon as you decide that you don't care, then they're knocking on your door and they want to talk again, right? So yeah, that's going to be the challenge for you this month is patience, perspective, and letting go. But these aren't really dark cards or anything. It's just things that we all go through from time to time. Let's talk about some other things here. As we look at the ego, we have the moon card. So I want to start with it in its upright position. I always like to look at how you can elevate it. The moon is natural intuition. This is for those of you that, just like me, in meditations and in dreams can get really powerful messages. Pay attention. Sometimes when I'm focusing on solving a problem in my life, or if I'm trying to tune into a reading, I might have I don't mind that it interrupts my sleep, but I might be awakened 3 or 4 times during the night with messages, and I have to put them into my phone. I sit there, you can either dictate it, or I just tap them. In the morning, I think, whose spelling was that? I can hardly read it, but I can make sense of it. So I do that, and then as soon as I'm awake and ready, I put it on cards so that I can relay it to you. I need to record what I get because it will not stay there otherwise. So you're receiving stuff, record it. That's one of the things that I would say. Record it or type it or tap it or do something. Okay, now other aspects of the moon and the reason that this is coming up. So your intuition is stronger than usual, and you might be a little bit more sensitive to things in your life emotionally. Don't be afraid to look at stuff. So we see the cat looking at its reflection. It looks a little scary. It's a little warped. It looks bigger than it is. Things may not be as bad as you think. It's like that in the United States, we have on our rear view mirror, I think it's on the driver's side, objects in mirror are closer than they appear or whatever. So sometimes I would say in this one, things can seem like they're bigger or scarier than they actually are. It's almost like we need a disclaimer with the moon card. It's not what you think. The moon itself is a reflective energy, and it doesn't have its own light. It's showing you a reflection of something. So go a little deeper. With the moon, you always want to go into the emotional levels and see why you're triggered and all of that. So don't be afraid with your partner, friend, or teacher or boss to say what's on your mind. If there's something that's bothering you, if you can have transparent, open, and clear communication, you're going to benefit from that. Things are going to be less awkward, and there's nothing to be afraid of except fear and except maybe hiding things. The moon also comes out when there are people in your life that may not have the best interest at heart for you or for other people. And this is what I was picking up on with the power struggle. So you're feeling it, you're knowing it on some levels. Notice how in the reflection, that sort of panther-like cat is the bigger one, right? I'm looking at it now. I just realized we have a kitty cat and then we have a panther. So what's happening for some of you is someone is showing this illusion of strength, but it's not who they are. Or they're showing some sort of bravado or some other side, and it's sort of like that's not truly who they are. So I want you to get to know some people in your life, especially if you're just dating someone new, or there's someone that you just think, I don't know what it is, but something's off. You're right. And you need to kind of dig in a little bit and figure out why it's happening. Things to be aware of with the moon card, sometimes sneaky behavior. Someone says they're going to do something, they don't. Someone says that they're being honest with you, but they're saying things or doing things in the periphery. So that's what needs to be stomped out, okay? Try not to get territorial. Notice how it's really between the two of them. It's not about kind of like turf wars or anything. It's more sort of just egos. So I feel like there's room for a lot of people to shine. There's a lot of stars in the sky, right? And there's a lot of space between those stars. So just separate yourself. That's how the stars up there do it. So separate yourself from someone who's afraid of having you be powerful or something. That should be a sign that if you're in a relationship or a job, that's not the place for you. If you can't shine and be strong, you shouldn't mute your light. You should go shine somewhere else where people will appreciate it, okay? A lot of pieces to unpackage with that. We have the 8 of Pentacles reversed. We have a couple upright cards after this, but you did have a few reversals this month. 8 of Pentacles is a great card, even in the reverse state. It's basically saying there's going to be a return on the investment. This is usually saying you're going to put more in yourself, more sort of like this could be education, fitness, like I was talking about earlier. Maybe you're going to go see a doctor and talk about what's on your mind, like a psychologist. Somehow investing and discovery, also self-discovery. And anything that you decide to do, you get a return on it. In business, this is a great card. This can actually be like production. 8 of Wands would actually be the busy production, but this is the actual stamping out of it. That's why you see people working. So if you're trying to hire someone this month, if you're in a position to hire, look for someone that really has good production skills, good hands-on skills. And if you have that, this might be a good month to find a job, even if you have had challenges in the past. The Ace of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, that tells me someone values the skills that you have. And you might be picking up on a new opportunity where maybe it's not as high of a position as you've had before, but you learn a lot, because this is the Apprentice card as well. Three of Pentacles is mastery. Eight of Pentacles is apprenticeship. So maybe you are willingly taking something less than because of the experience that it offers, or just because you like what you're doing. Either way, I like the Eight of Pentacles. So going back to school, investing in yourself, producing, finding a producer. I see a lot of wheels moving. This is like going to get you to the Wheel of Fortune card. Okay. Ten of Wands, which I talked about, and you can even see the person's always hunched over and not the best posture. This particular Ten of Wands, they're not carrying things correctly, I don't think, and then the cat's on the back too. So I would say really focus on how much you're willing to carry the burden of other people's problems, or in your life. Like, is there a need to do this much all the time? The other thing is just to focus on the horizon and where you're going, because with Ten of Wands, it's a graduation card. So by the way, for those of you, I read in the comments said that you are looking at school and doing things in school, you're on a right path. It might be a little harder than you thought because this card was reversed, but this tells me it's worth climbing that hill. This is good. This is a good path that you're on. For everyone else, there's movement and an end to a journey. This can also be travel or teleworking, which a lot of us are doing. But it could be a decision like, I think I'm done with this and I want to try something else. So I see many of you kind of getting up to the top, and I said coming up for air, but some of you are just kind of getting perspective and thinking, now what? And I would say enjoy this last leg of the journey. That's something that sometimes it's anticlimactic when you actually release something or finish something. And I want you to spend a little bit of time thinking like, what's next as you're finishing this up? And then also thinking, I'm still doing it. It's good. Like, I'm celebrating the fact that I'm working hard, because once you're going down the hill, it's sort of like, okay, now what? So just always have a plan B, C, D, E, F. I think we should always be thinking of future projects and opportunities beyond the present. What an interesting card to end on. We have the Seven of Swords here in your outcome. So with the Seven of Swords, let's take the most elevated view that I can of this. This is cutting your losses and moving on at its highest form. But we have to then look at the other things with this, which is, for many of you, there could be a revelation this month. Someone may show up in a way that is unexpected. You may see true colors shining through where you thought you could trust them that you couldn't. It can also just be a test of your own accountability. This is also kind of an elevated version of it. So I often say, even though this isn't necessarily in any of the little white books that you get with the tarot cards, the Seven of Swords to me as a reader is the lie that we tell ourselves, or the sort of like the work that we'll do in our head, the heavy lifting that we do in our head to try to make something seem like it's okay. So if you're in a broken or toxic job situation or relationship, or if there's a life pattern in your life that you know you shouldn't do, this is just the Seven of Swords coming through and saying it's time to move on. So let it go, right? And protect the things that you care about. Notice how they didn't get those two swords there. They can't. They're kind of nailed down. Really focus on what matters. On the other elevated or brighter side of the Seven of Swords, when that thing happens, sometimes it is an event or a person that kind of shows their colors. The people that are still around you, those are the Two of Swords. That's the sort of coat of armor up there that you can truly trust. You'll see who you can depend upon. So every time someone shows up and really reveals their true self, you could just think to yourself, thank you. And I don't need to invest in that anymore. And that's kind of how I want to close the Seven of Swords. Know what you need to do, be honest with yourself and others. And if something happens, be grateful that you no longer have to deal with that, because now you see it. That's part of being an intuitive. Sometimes it's not fun. People can say one thing, but you're seeing it and hearing it in a different way. And you're like, no, it's nonsense. And I'm not going to worry about that anymore. You clean your hands and let it go. So it is easier than you think sometimes when it comes to a feeling of needing to let go of something that's not good, because I see someone saying not that easy, but It depends. I guess it depends on what you're trying to let go of. But I will say, when I've felt disappointment or I've seen someone, because the Seven of Swords can also be someone just doing something wrong, like backstabbing is what we would call it. It's very et tu brute. So when someone does that, it's feeling like, okay, that hurt and it will hurt for a while, but now I can focus on this. I can focus on this. Look at the liberating piece of that if you can, rather than focusing on the person, because guess what? They were already stealing away. They weren't, that wasn't what it was supposed to be. So it is a blessing, but it doesn't feel like a blessing, and it's okay to be angry with it. But remember what we said, you can't stay in the Three of Swords energy for too long, because you're going to miss this, and I don't want you to miss that, okay? The best way to to get even is just to prove yourself really successful and worthy, and the person that walked away from you, they're going to feel regret because you're right on path, and they're going to see that they lost something special. So don't get even, go higher, do better, and show them that they made a mistake. So by working on yourself, by developing. So that's the best way of quote unquote getting even. It's by balancing out yourself and by finding the evenness within you. All right, let's go into the expanded forecast. We're going to start with the health card. We have Green Tara, Supreme Protection here. It says you're protected, cords are being cut, move beyond limitation and trust. She was reversed, but everything is positive in this. I just think that there might be some resistance for some of you in that letting go, in the cord cutting. So maybe we can work on that, in the meditation, but the protection piece is also really important here, which is focusing on getting a nice firm foundation. I think sometimes things that feel really sturdy, they're just a house of cards. And if that falls apart, this time you're going to do the work. You're going to go a little bit, taking your time, and like with the Nine of Pentacles, which would follow this, there's a little snail on the card, not in this deck, but in the Rider-Waite-Smith one. So slow, steady, and consistency, all of those things taking your time, that's what's going to bring you success and happiness in your life. So don't rush is what I would say. You're protected, cords are being cut, move beyond limitation and trust. So just know this, that you're being guided and protected in all that's going on in your life, and it's bringing you to something better. Let me look at the cards here and get some more specific health messages. I feel like I hammered this into the ground, but the Ten of Wands is about posture and about how you're carrying weight on your back even. So whether it's a purse, a briefcase, attaché, or you do manual labor and you're doing a lot of lifting, or you decided to go back to the gym and you're getting overzealous with free weights and barbells and all of that, just take it easy on yourself. This is how you can strain a muscle, slip a disc, all of that stuff. So definitely be careful with the back and with how you're taking care of your spine. Let's see, what else? I would love for some of you just to focus on breathing and meditating, because I was talking about how long the turtle held its breath. We don't really want to do that in real life. You want to take nice, deep, long breaths and really allow for, I think the breathing is going to help you move the energy. So in exercise and in meditating, focus on the sound of the breath, the feeling of the breathing as you're moving energy in and out. And it's a super powerful form of kind of emotional alchemy and energy alchemy. So breathing is key, and yoga would be great. Again, talk to your doctor, or maybe you can even do something like chair-based yoga if you are either in a wheelchair or you have limited mobility. There are things that you can do sitting down as well. Always get a doctor's approval on that. For pregnancy this month, the Moon card can show that there could just be some challenges in conception. I did get an Ace of Pentacles, so that bodes well, but don't push yourself. I think emotional kind of sensitivity is really key here, and just being kind with yourself. This is the same for creation this month. So like launching a project or doing something important. I really want you to look at who's in your life. So for those of you that are entrepreneurs, or you have an idea that you want to patent or whatever, get everything buttoned down, legally speaking, before you move on. I know that I'm veering from health, but that came through, so I have to talk about it, because the people in your life you've got to trust. I would say really just share it with the people that you truly trust and get them to sign a non-disclosure contract or something like that. Protect yourself, patent things, copyright things, get everything in the right order. So it'll make you happier. That's probably why it's coming through in health. So those are the main things. And then just being honest with yourself. If you say you want to do something, but you're not ready, then do it when the timing feels more kind of copacetic for you. Only do it when you feel it. Only say it when you feel it. As we move along to wealth, we have take your first step. And with, I like this. This is really what I was talking about before. Everything begins with a thought, a decision, an action. And you just keep acting on the thought, and you keep elevating the thought and trusting in that thought. You never, I mean, I think sometimes younger generations expect things to happen quickly. The older you get, the more you realize it's just persistence, right? It takes a long time to get things done. So just keep showing up, keep doing this. At the beginning, we're always working with ourselves, talking to ourselves, doing things on our own. And then people eventually start to see the work ethic or start to see something resonating in what you're doing, and then they follow along. So whether you're a musician, whether you're a lawyer, or whether you're a social media person, whatever, it always starts small. Just keep doing it, right? Keep doing it because you want to do it too. Remember what I was saying from the guides, passion. If it's not coming from a place of passion, that's why the growth is inhibited. Again, investing in yourself is really key. I talked about that already. You might want to do it yourself because you're already doing a lot. So that's part of it. And really, maybe that's better too, because there could be some people in your life that you don't want to partner with. I actually think that there's very sort of entrepreneurial energy coming through. I didn't get like the Two of Cups here. I'm not getting the Lovers. I'm getting ideas, and I'm getting you carrying the load here. So for those of you that want to go out on your own, it feels like you have what it takes, okay? If you want to do that. For the rest of you, a brand new path, and reminding yourself that it's okay to start fresh. I get people that are so afraid to try something different. Well, how will you know what's possible? And how do you know how far you will go? It always starts somewhere. So just start fresh today, and I think something beautiful can happen with that. If you've been looking for work, new job, opportunity on the horizon. If you're in a job, look around. You might be able to find something better. And if you're retired, look at how you're investing your time. There might be something where you could feel more fulfillment. We looked at health and wealth. Let's look at love. And I really feel like that marries up nicely to the Three of Swords, acceptance, right? This is for those of you who have loved and lost. Maybe, again, lost someone in spirit. They've passed away. I was talking the other night to a family member. I watched something on television. It reminded me of my grandmother, but I couldn't remember her voice. I kind of can, but it's been a long time. She's been gone for like 30 years now or something. So, but I remember her energy. And, but you accept at a certain point, you can just kind of like, I know she's gone and I accept that she's gone, and I have just good memories about her now, but it was nice to reminisce. But initially it's hard. When that wound is fresh, you think, oh, I miss that person. I feel them. I wish they were here. Like I can feel the energy and everything. And what I'm seeing here is they very much are around you. There is a lot of love and a lot of light. You can speak. This reminds me of Azrael, like the angel of death. This kind of looks like the connection between you and the loved one. So you can work with that angel, by the way, if that's something that you need to get a message across to the other side. You can also talk to the person, they hear you. It's almost like for them sometimes a glass pane. They can't, depends on your psychic ability. So they can try to talk back to you, but you're not always going to hear it. So that's why we have this false illusion here on the planet that, they don't hear me, or it's not getting through. It's getting through. You just may not be receiving what they're saying. So pay attention to dreams, pay attention to the thoughts that come into your head, because the other way that our guides speak to us are just directly in a thought. So when I'm trying to find your totem, sometimes I just get a thought out of nowhere. Like literally, I thought sea turtle. I thought, where did that come from? Okay, that's what we're going to talk about today. The guides don't always whisper straight into my ear. Sometimes they go straight into the 7th chakra, and I just get it as a download. So those who you've loved and lost, a grandparent, a lover, a friend, a child, they can speak in different ways. So tune into that. Open yourself up to different ways to connect with them. For the rest of you, let's look at existing relationships. Acceptance could be looking at the flaws that you have and that others have, and accepting and understanding that at its kind of like face value, that's what this is. Also accepting yourself first and foremost. If you don't accept you, others won't. So this is really important if you're like coming out, especially. So if you're trying to tell your parents that you're gay, or if you're trying to get acceptance for someone that you love, or if you're trying to announce something with your business or whatever, you need to accept and believe it first, and be completely okay with it. So come out and accept whatever you need to yourself first, then share it with someone because you're comfortable with it. And when you don't care, they won't care. But if you still have an uneasiness about whatever it is you're trying to say, including quitting a job or saying I love you, any sort of coming out or declaration, I should say, you should believe what you say before you say it. Otherwise, the antlers go up and people are kind of feeling it out and saying, I don't know. Their antenna are up and they're saying, I don't know about that. We had the ant this month, so I'm still thinking of that. So you need to accept what you say before you say it. And if someone says something that you kind of get the sixth sense antenna up saying that's wrong, it probably is. So trust yourself and then have the difficult conversation with that person. It does feel like some of you do need to have a separation this month. By the way, this Three of Swords, because it's at the center, it could mean quitting a job, leaving a relationship, stopping a habit, because it's on top of an Eight of Cups here. So saying no to something or saying goodbye to something and getting the closure. So once you do that, accept and move on. If somebody's giving you the goodbye, it's harder sometimes to accept it, but this is still saying accept what someone wants to give to you or say to you, right? Spidey senses, exactly. All right, the final card here is Magic Guardian. Unlock the magic within. Very High Priestess-like for me as I look at this. And maybe some of you are magic practitioners out there. I have a line that I wrote in my book that I love because I'm biased on that one, but I said magic is a new truth waiting to be discovered. I think that we call it magic, but it's just something that exists in the universe. So what I'm doing may feel magical. It's something I've worked at and I did it in other lifetimes. And it's just it's a conduit, right? So it's not magic. It's just energy. It's just a modality. It's just a way to connect. And so people that, when you look even at organized religions, there's a lot of ceremony and a lot of things that go into that, lighting of candles and all of that. Magic's everywhere. And it's just stuff we don't understand, so we call it magic. So dig deeper, because you're a deeply magical creature, FYI. You have amazing capacity. We're just starting to get to the tip of the iceberg of our potential as a species, So I feel like dig deeper, you're going to surprise yourself, all right? And that could be in manifestation. So there's definitely High Priestess and Magician energy that are kind of pushed together in that. And you may surprise yourself. That's what I get with that card, okay? Destiny tells me that you hold the keys. And by the way, I was looking at this little feature on the Four of Cups. Keys are up there. Why aren't you using them? Get those keys off the shelf and start to open the door. You can do anything that you want to, all right? Let's review everything quickly, and then we'll go into the soul path. I'm keeping an eye on time. I want to make sure that I give it enough time for the next section. So let's talk about your totem and everything else really quickly here. As I said earlier, the sea turtle was coming through for your sign this month. A reminder that it's time to take a plunge and dive into something new. And that was part of this I think this really has to do now with wealth when we looked at it, right? Begin now, take the first step, right? So that's really where this something new could be. A decision, if you're retired, this could just be how you're spending your time, right? A decision to give back or something like that. But a new endeavor is opening up for you. We also have the Ace of Pentacles at the top. So definitely opportunities abounding. Pace yourself. You may alternate between productive periods and plateaus. And I would say the important thing here is to be honest with yourself if you're lacking motivation. We've all been at jobs where you wish away the day. If you're wishing away the day and wishing away the week, it's time to be honest and think, you know what, this isn't me. Same thing in a relationship. If you're trying to spend a lot of time apart, it might be time to sort of think, this might be more than just a sabbatical. So letting go of something so something better can come through and you can focus on investing in that. Come up for air and plan out how to use your resources. Just because the turtle can hold its breath for 4 to 7 hours, but sometimes we end up kind of being shallow in our breathing or shallow in our experiences. So this is really about saying, let's go deeper, which we saw with the moon card, and explore, and also allocate resources accordingly. You might need to work on metabolism and increasing it this month, because it's good for turtles, not so much for human beings. Work with your doctor to figure out what might work for you, but some things that came to mind that you could talk about, it would include swimming, walking. I mentioned yoga. That could be where the stretching is. Low impact, but high output sort of types of exercises. And yeah, just basically get the energy shifting and moving in your life. Be kind to your back. Look at your posture. Look at your chair and your bed, get an ergonomic assessment. And lo and behold, we did get the 10 of Wands that I was tuning into. So definitely take care of your spine this month. You're putting your neck on the line a little bit. Sea turtles can't retract their neck. There's accountability. That's actually the number one way that you can get rid of this card. Just be accountable and hold others to be accountable as well. And step into the spotlight. You can and you will adapt to any situation that comes your way. I was talking about all the different adaptations that turtles, especially sea turtles, have already made. So you can do that in your own life. That spidey sense that someone put in chat, or the sixth sense here, they read the magnetic field of the earth, but basically we're looking at the homing energy. So for some of you, there could be a homecoming. There could be this feeling of needing to be more at home, or feeling like you're trying to get your sea legs, trying to feel like you understand how to get moving again. So just ground yourself a little bit and figure out what's important. Get your balance for sure. Don't take on more than you need to avoid stress and burnout. That can definitely happen this month. Inspire and empower. Try not to play the role of dictator. It's more powerful for you to kind of spark that inspiration to help them own the idea, kind of like we saw in the movie Inception. We're all born from passion. That was something that the guides wanted me to say, specifically those words. Therefore, we need passion in order to live our life to its fullest, to have vitality, to have motivation. Find your passion. Doesn't matter if it's for work. It doesn't matter if it's for fun or if it's just something you're curious about. Any and all of those things are allowable and important. Err on the side of being overdressed and prepared. I would say even over-prepared for a key meeting, because you're going to need that. I was even seeing like the phone not being charged. It felt like very just kind of discombobulated. Give yourself extra time. Before I do these readings, I get up, just so you know, like 6 in the morning for the 9 o'clock readings, because I have to write the messages, I have to eat, I have to walk the dog, I have to do a bunch of stuff so that I can show up and be here right on time. So 3 hours of prep. Do the same thing for an interview too. You've got to make sure that you're ready for this. Be aware of others, use inclusive language in communication, be sensitive, be aware, read the room. You might find yourself in a power struggle, get support from others. You don't have to do this all on your own, but try to get this stomped out sooner than later. Change happens one step at a time. And what did we get in your work? But take the first step, right? So take that first step if you're trying to change your career. It could start with a class. It could start with rewriting your resume or getting your business proposal written up, whatever. 3 of Cups energy. Probably going to need to look at this in the soul path here in a moment. So I'm going to leave this card to the side. New love, new connections, adjustments in existing relationships. People don't always think of it as a baby. It could be a baby. It could be something new like that. So let's leave this to the side because I want to remind myself to focus on that. The crocus, which is showing this amazing ability to come back after something. To me, this is a sign of rebirth more than anything. And thanks to the person that reminded me that saffron was a spice that comes from this. But more than anything, it's rebirth and also persistence. And we see here that it's also cheerfulness. So keep a positive or sunny outlook. It's going to go a long way. Closure, basically with 8 of Cups and the 3 of Swords. Second chances, new beginnings. You can take 8 of Cups in any direction that you want. Start, stop, finish. 9 of Cups in reverse, focusing on not getting overly burdened by your emotions, feeling them but not letting them rule you. The 4 of Cups, perspective. Don't miss out on an opportunity. It's knocking on your door. Don't miss out on something that you could create. Don't beat yourself for missing something that you already did, kind of like because of your lack of focus. You can create it again. You are magic, right? Temperance, just be patient. Just be patient, rather. Patience is going to be tried because this card is reversed, so you want to be mindful and not step out too quickly. The Moon card, honesty, transparency, accountability. These two work in tandem, the 7 of Swords and the Moon card. I don't like to get both of them in this spread, but this is the outcome, which is something you can change. This is what you have to deal with. And for many of you, it's moving on. And so you know what you have to do there. Investing in yourself, going back to school, producing, finding a producer. Basically, I see a lot of development. I like that your main money card is 8 of Pentacles plus the Ace. So we have 2 highly vibrational cards here that you can do a lot with. 10 of Wands. Sometimes you have to do it yourself. Sometimes you have to move on. but you don't have to do everything all the time for someone. How much of a weight are you shouldering? It might be time to let go of someone that is requiring you always to carry that weight. And that's really what the Seven of Swords is saying. Moving on, letting go, being accountable, and holding others to be accountable as well. You are already protected and you're being guided in the right path. This month, I want you also to pay attention in a health area to emotional well-being and your heart. Anytime the Three of Swords comes through, I missed it, but I usually pick it up when I do the review. The Three of Swords here is about making sure that if you have a existing history of heart disease, that's also why exercise is important, that you work with your doctor. If you're feeling stressed, to take care of yourself so you're not putting additional strain on that part of your body. Looking at blood pressure, blood sugar, and moving the blood through the veins, all of that comes through with the Three of Swords. Yes, okay, wealth, starting something new, taking that first step. You have what it takes. This can be an investor. This can be you deciding to take some money out and start a new business, whatever you want to do. I see a new movement, new growth happening. It's probably going to involve stepping away from what you are doing, but get that foundation built so that you can step onto firm ground, because you don't want to have your balance kind of taken out. Accepting yourself, accepting others for who they are, not trying to change them. Remembering sparking inspiration, it's key. That's what teachers do all the time. But if you just try to tell someone, then it's starting to become codependent. So they need to accept and work on themselves, likewise with you. To talk to people in spirit, remember that it doesn't always come through in visions or in voices. It can also come through in thoughts and feelings, especially if you're empathic. Magic. You are magic. We all are magic. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to start to own that sort of magical ability? Do you believe in yourself? If you do, great things can happen. But you've got to believe. You've got to believe. All right, let's now go deeper into the soul path. I pulled the Three of Cups to the side, so I want to start with that since I picked up on it, but I haven't seen it in the cards just yet. So let's look at what this new energy might be that wants to come in. I feel like some of you had to work through the Three of Swords and you had to work through the Seven of Swords before we can get to the Three of Cups. So let's see. Looking at the soul path, looking at Three of Cups, looking at new connections or adjustments in existing relationships, what's the focal point? Yay, we've got the Six of Cups, which is so fantastic. All right, so this is a baby for some of you, and it might be twins for some of you, by the way. So if that's something you're looking for, great. If you're not ready for twins, maybe hold back a little bit. But Six of Cups can also be a connection to someone that you love from the past, or it could be, for me, this is a deep soul connection. So if you're looking for the one, whatever that one, I think we have a lot of potential partners, but the deepest or most meaningful soul partner in your life, that could be someone that you're calling in. The card is reversed, so they might not be ready right now. And this is the frustrating thing sometimes when you meet a high frequency relationship that maybe you've done more work or they've done more work. Don't rush it. If this is going to work, it'll come together when the time is right. I don't really talk about twin flames that much because I feel like it's overplayed on YouTube, but with a twin flame or with a really deep karmic relationship, sometimes there's fear in the recognition. And that's the sort of running or chasing energy that happens sometimes. And so just be at ease. The answer to that is, if it's meant to be, it will be. If it's not, then another lifetime. I'm not going to try to convince. I'm not going to chase after this. I'm going to allow this thing to come to me. But I see some good stuff coming through for you, FYI. If you're looking for a new partnership or new energy in your life and you've been through some not so good stuff, I think you've earned your wings, which we see here. It's time to sort of like open up and say, yes, I'm ready for something bigger, better, and brighter. I really like Six of Cups. It's friendship, it's playful, it's youthful. And I would say one of the things for you is to try to have fun. The Six of Cups and the Sun card, those are like babies in tarot. You see a baby on the Sun card, and on the Six of Cups is very playful. The Fool is also young at heart. So I would say all of these energies are kind of coming through as I'm looking at that. So try to have some fun and not take yourself so seriously. Yeah, a really significant relationship could be on the horizon, or you could be dealing with a significant relationship. And the problem with this for some of you is that person doesn't want to face it, doesn't want to deal with it. So you may feel it, you both may feel it, but both of you have to be on the same page. So just don't force it. If it's meant to be, it will be. And if it isn't, another high energy relationship will come into your life as well, okay? Reconnect with an old friend if you can. 8 of Cups and 6 of Cups, those are returns. So closure. If there's something you wanted to say, I'm sorry, I love you, whatever you want to say to an old friend or somebody, there's definitely room for healing. And it does feel like they're receptive. Just pick the right timing and don't go too far, just kind of short and simple. Looks like it's good there. That was one last thing that came through. Okay, let's turn to the 3 of Swords here. I always like to go into the tricky cards just because I'm sure you have questions about them. So let's look at 3 of Swords and 7 of Swords and the Moon. They're all the same energy to me. Different variations of it. One is disappointment. The other one is like accountability and honesty. So someone is talking about like a negative person in their life. Everyone in your life is a mirror. There's a different deck that I use, Chrysalis, I think is the name of the deck, where they've chosen to make mirrors cups. So when you see someone, and I think I talked to, was it Sagittarius about this? Sag or Scorpio. When you see people in your life that show up and you don't like them, or they're showing something that you don't like, think to yourself, what in myself is allowing that behavior? Why is that behavior triggering me the way it is? And do I want to keep putting up with that behavior? You shouldn't have to keep putting up with that behavior, but there is something within that is attracting the lesson. So work on that. And then when you're ready, step away from that if you need to. 3 of Swords, 7 of Swords, Moon, Knight of Pentacles. This is self-worth on some levels, and then moving forward. For some of you too, you might have to take the first step. Knights are very proactive. But if you're always the one bringing forward the ideas, pushing forward what's going on, trying to lift up, as we saw with the 10 of Wands, that's codependency. That is someone else that is either leaning on that or allowing that to happen. So I want you to just focus on you and move ahead and start getting things going. And at some point, there'll be so much momentum that you will find yourself on a trajectory that's either taking you closer to this or away from this. So keep moving. That was a message that I did bring to the previous sign. Keep moving. And that movement is going to take you where you need to go. I feel like you're really in a good place when it comes to new endeavors in your life. So work, school, projects, passion, all that stuff. Like I feel good development there. So when it comes to relationships, if that's not where you want to focus, that's a-okay with me because it feels like there's a lot of development happening in your life. Okay. Let's do a free sort of wild card, and then we'll do an extra card at the end. That's the almost one-on-one kind of reading card that I like to do. But first, let's do a wild card for the general sort of good of this sign, and then we'll meditate, and then I'll pull one card at the end, the final word. Okay, don't overthink. We have the King of Wands, which is literally like the biggest boss card that you could get. But it's also the one where you can think yourself into a rabbit hole. So with this one, I would say, especially for those of you that are trying to find new ways to develop, either your creative skills or your intuitive skills. Channel, just get it out. Judge it later, not when you're trying to get the message through you. So I just write stuff down and I trust that I can, the reason I do cards is I can rearrange them and I can find a way to get a sort of, when I'm writing note cards, that is, I can get a cohesive message to you. So maybe do the same, write it in a journal or use note cards like I do and just kind of make sense of things as they're coming through, but don't overthink. Stay open-minded. If someone's trying to boss you around, this is really about making sure that you're both on the same level. I didn't get any court cards when I was looking at I really don't think it's about others as much as it is about you. But when I'm looking here at these 2 court cards, I'm seeing a maturity gap. It could be just emotional or intellectual or literally difference in years. So it feels like I really want to see either 2 knights or 2 kings or 2 queens, something like that. This is too much of a gap for comfort. So I would say look at how much you're trying to sort of compensate for someone else. And I think that's where the balance can happen. But anyway, you have what it takes. I've said this a few times. This is a independence card. So when you're ready, if you're ready, you've got what it takes. It just has to be something that you sort out internally. All right, let's meditate. And then I'm going to pull an extra card at the end. So if there was a question that I didn't have a chance to answer, hold it mentally, and then I will answer it after the meditation. I want to help you with the Three of Swords a little bit. So we're going to melt away some of the cords. Let's see. And I want to help you see things so that you can see the moon and the Seven of Swords energy. I want you to, if there's anything that you need to see through, I want to kind of help you open up your third eye a little bit. So actually the singing bowl that I use, I have the note somewhere here, but it's actually attuned to the pineal gland. It's actually supposed to be for third eye awakening. So every time I play it, that helps a little bit. There are different sounds. I want to say like it's an F, but I have to take a look at it, F sharp or something like that. I don't know what it is. I'll find it later. But basically, I know that this one is specifically attuned to open up your third eye. So stick around for this if you're looking to see through some of that nonsense. I like the crocus image that came through. I also like the sea turtle. I think I want to use the sea turtle because that's going to allow us to kind of move and swim. Okay. Take a deep breath with me and let's focus on neck, shoulders, and back for a second before we get into the meditation. And actually, yeah, stick around after this again. I'm going to have an extra card and I want to talk a little bit about social media and all of that. So more messages to come, 2 minutes meditation. You'll be grateful that you did it because it's going to open up your third eye. So listen to this singing bowl. It's going to help you. Close your eyes, sit up tall for a second and imagine that you're stretching up like a tree towards the sky, opening up your energy, opening up your heart space. Take a deep breath and then on the exhale, relax a little bit. You can roll your shoulders forward and back at your own pace, just kind of loosening up what you're holding on to here, making sure that it's not like this. It's more kind of just gently kind of hanging there. And if you want to, just kind of take your neck, go left to right, and go front to back if you want to. If you feel like moving it around, you can, but you don't have to. Just a little bit of loosening of all the energy that we hold in the upper back. And closing your eyes, I want you to imagine that you're going to kind of shape shift into a sea turtle, but you're going to be human sitting on the beach for a second. As you're in your human form, I want you to just look around you at the beautiful energy of the beach. Pristine water that you can see through, kind of like this aquamarine, beautiful bluish green color. And then behind you, the sand is clean, it's clear, it's stretching for miles, just you on the beach. The sun directly overhead, creating this beam of energy that moves all the way through your body, from your crown all the way to the root chakra and into the planet itself, connecting to the heat and the energy there. It's almost like you have 2 power points and you are squarely on those, squarely connected above and below, just like the magician card. Take a deep breath and see each and every part of your body light up. And as you go into this light body, I want you to see yourself transform energetically into the turtle. You can leave your human body on the planet if you want to, but then this sort of light body is going to take the form of the sea turtle. And I want you to go into the water in front of you. And if you have a fear of water, you don't have to worry because you're energetic now. It's just like flying through the sky. So just allow yourself to move into the water and feel free. You're free of the weight of the energy that we have to feel on the earth. The gravity works differently in the water. Everything feels lighter and brighter. And I want you to just feel like you can go anywhere. It may not be a super fast sort of swimming, but it's pretty fast. So allow yourself to start to move around and experience the freedom of being a turtle in the sea. And using your senses and sensibility to be able to see things that you couldn't normally see. And in this moment, as you start to swim, imagine that if there were any energetic connections to your heart, through the momentum of swimming, you're going to actually let them go. It's almost like a rubber band, they just break, or you can imagine that they're just dissolving away in the water. So your heart is open, your energy is free, and you're just kind of swimming and floating if you'd like to. You can even kind of just float on the surface if you want to, and breathe out of there. Just kind of look at what's around you. Just enjoy this. Feel lighter and feel brighter as I play the singing bowl, and maybe you just kind of playfully move through the water a bit as this energetic sea turtle. If there were any limitations in your life, they no longer exist. In this moment in time, choose to be free of all of those things. Liberate yourself, and even think these thoughts. This can be your mantra for the month if you'd like. I release you. I release the connections I have with you, especially if there's someone in your life that you need to let go of. I free up both of us to explore bigger, better, and brighter horizons. As you liberate yourself from even other things, habits, decisions, toxic environments, etc., see your energy starting to rise up from the water. And from the turtle now, you're kind of turning into this beautiful winged creature, maybe a butterfly or something like that. And you're flying back towards your body. I want you to enter in through the third eye. We just listened to a singing bowl that will open that third eye up. So allow your energy now to go back into your body through the third eye, which is a nice safe portal to come back into your body. And with this next breath, I want you to feel that you're snapping the energetic self and the physical self back together. Rub your hands together, put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that. And this is the point where I'm going to read an extra card for you. So think about something that you would like clarity on. Something or someone or whatever it is that I haven't had a chance to look at, or if you just joined, whatever your sort of question is for today, the reason that you clicked on my video and thought, I need help, or I want to look at this, or I want to see what's going on. Hold that in your heart. Think about what it is that you want to know about that. And I'm going to pull a single card and give you some feedback. Right. We got the Knight of Cups. You can open your eyes if you haven't already. The card was reversed, but I still love this. This is a very elevated card. So with the Knight of Cups, by the way, he's skipping over the water. So he was aware of what was going on with this. Knight of Cups. This is your chance to really choose to be happy. I feel like sometimes we deny ourselves that chance, right? It's a feeling of, I'm not worthy, I'm not ready, I'm not sure. The fear card that would be a part of the moon often is coming through with that. Afraid of what you might feel, see, or experience. So it's your turn, it's your time. Choose to be happy. Allow that to come in. See the little shark here underneath? But you're above that water. You've been through that before. You don't have to experience this situation. So for those of you that have had something like the Seven of Swords or the Three of Swords, which is represented here by the shark, it's done. And you could just make a decision in your mind like, enough now. I'm really over that. On to higher grounds. This guy looks really happy, and I think you should be too. That goes back to the energy of the crocus, which is choosing to be happy, choosing happiness, even if that means walking away from something, even if that means just letting go. For those of you that are creative, this is such a good card. This is a channeling card for sure. A Knight of Cups can allow for this great flow of information to come through your all through your body, through your senses. And I just want you to kind of be willing to show up and kind of like what I do, just report and share what comes into your life. If you're looking for love, I really like that you got both the Knight of Cups and the Six of Cups, right? Your Cups cards were reversed, so I would say the important thing here is to make sure that reciprocity is part of the new relationships that you bring into your life. So giving and receiving, you should both be taking turns and not having to sort of shoulder the weight of the relationship or the problems in the relationship. But new love, new friendship, good things, happiness after a period maybe of not being so happy. I really like the Knight of Cups. There's nothing to really fear with that. With it reversed, it's basically just saying, yeah, it's been rough. I've been through some murky waters. So do what you need to do to get above that and to get into a healthier and happier place. So if that's talking to someone, if that's leaving something or someone, then by all means, the Knight of Cups is saying, choose happiness. That's the message that I heard in my head when I saw this, okay? So that little meditation, that's super powerful. You could also be thinking that each day of the month, I choose to be happy. I'm ready to receive happiness in all the elevated forms. There you go. That's another little mantra if you want it. All right. So for everyone that's here, thanks for being here today. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love for you to connect with me on social media if you haven't already. So I mentioned earlier that there's been some imposters popping around. It's going to be my name. If they have 1, 2, 3, 5 underscores after it, that's not me. If they have something before it or in the middle, that's not me. So it's at Nicholas Ashbaugh. And that's the only thing that you should be connecting with on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. So I have a verified check mark on YouTube and a verified one on Facebook, maybe one day on Instagram, not yet. But when in doubt, go to the pinned link from Dakota at the top there and go to my website, and all of these are there. I use stories frequently on all of these, and on Twitter, that's the only one that has a different name. It's Ashbaugh. I will tweet out, or I will use story features to remind you what videos I will be doing that day. So it's a really effective way to know and not miss a video. If you want to show support, the best way to do it is through here. Like if you're watching me live, thank you, by the way, for everybody that's given me a super sticker or super chat. I appreciate it, and I read everything afterwards, so I do appreciate that. You can also do an applause contribution afterwards, just clicking the little heart right by the thumb up and share button. And if you want to go to my website, there's some PayPal buttons that you can choose there too. That's the only way. Never direct message somebody that is asking for, that's not it. You're going to use it either through YouTube or my website, or like the badge feature in Instagram or Patreon. So Patreon is another way to show support. And then there's the join button here too. And I occasionally do Q&As, and I give people that are channel members or Patreon patrons precedence on that. So when in doubt, go to my website. All of it is there. A great way to just say thank you that involves nothing but a click is the thumb up, the subscribe, and you can opt into notifications. Why is that important? Because it shows engagement. And why does engagement matter? Because then people can see it on YouTube. So it really helps people find it. So thank you to everyone that does that. If you are a fan of science fiction and fantasy, and I mean like a true sci-fi geek, something like Lord of the Rings or Dune, then you might want to check out my book. It is written by a psychic, so a lot of the information in this is good with metaphysical and psychic information. I noticed today on Amazon, this is like 23 bucks, 22. It's like $10 off its normal list price, so the hardcover is pretty cheap if you want to pick it up. So you can go to my website for more links. And otherwise, thank you so much. I will be back tomorrow. I'll be reading for Aquarius tomorrow, and then later this week, I'll wrap up with Pisces. I have a collective reading on the 28th that I'd love everyone to show up to. So please do. And in the meantime, I would just want to say thank you. Some really great things came through. Remember, magic is a new truth waiting to be discovered, and you are magical, and I want you to do something cool with that magic, okay? Lots of love and light to everybody. Thanks again to my moderators and to everybody for showing up. If you liked what you saw here, share it with some people. Go to my social media platforms and like retweet and share it. It makes a big difference. And in the meantime, love and light. Take care, everyone. Have a magical day, a great month ahead, and I'll see you soon. You're welcome to come to any of my readings, especially the beginning portions, because there's information that could come through for you. So if you want to come back tomorrow, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.